Son, I'm so disappointed in you. You thought what you did on Sunday was impressive? Why are you talking about things that you did in the 1970s? You weren't even alive. What are you talking about? Oh, I'm so disappointed in you. You're grounded. You've always been grounded, and I'm going to have to lock you in your room. Yeah, I don't want to talk to you right now. You're beneath me, to be perfectly honest. I brought you into this world, and I guess I'm going to have to take you out of it. Oh, hi, everybody. It's your friend Paul Gallant. I was busy talking to my son, the Pittsburgh Steelers, because you see, I own them. I'm Paul Gallant, and this is the Gallant Says podcast on Friday. Gotta get down on Friday, January 9th, 2026. Hit it!
A radio show host in Seattle called Paul Gallant.
Paul Gallant's wondering the same things a lot of people wonder.
You are definitely living in the hindsight world today, Paul.
I was just kind of curious what Paul gets to see.
You fucking grow up, mother. Are you kidding me? Paul Gallant, what the hell is wrong with you?
Oi! We are live on YouTube at Paul Gallant. Like and subscribe. Twitch at Gallant Says. Give me a follow. I'd appreciate a sub. On X at Gallant Says Pod. On Instagram at Sports Gallant. On TikTok at Gallant Says. On Facebook at Paul Gallant Sports. Important announcement before we get this show started, which you can also get after the fact, Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. We are going to be at Easy's Liquor Lounge on Monday night. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. It's going to be me. It's going to be Will Kunkel. Awesome deals. $28 steaks. It's steak night. That's right. Also, $4.50 brats. We did a little trailer for it in case you want to watch it. Will's really excited in it.
You guys demanded it. We are going to deliver. Will Kunkel and Paul Gallant at Easy's on Monday night for Steelers and Texans. Wild card weekend, baby. You're scaring me with how excited you are.
Texans swarm, baby. And guess what? It's steak night here at Easy's. You get steak, you get playoff football. What more could you ask for? Oh, how about $4.50 beer brats? Come out and hang out with us. It's going to be a great time.
You going to wear all black?
No, it's not a funeral, unless it's for the Steelers.
Oh, pregame show starts at 6:30. We'll see you at Easy's in the Heights.
So shout out to Kicking It with Kunkel. It's also going to be on the Gallant Says podcast and all my channels. So if you are not able to make it out, we will be live online. Okay, let's get into it. I'm trying to be a better sports fan as someone who has had his favorite teams win a lot, specifically my favorite team. They've won a lot. In case you couldn't tell, I'm just going to stand up. If you couldn't see my shirt there, I'm wearing a throwback New England Patriots t-shirt. I'm trying to be better as a cocky sports fan who could not be in a higher ivory tower. No one likes that guy. When I first moved down to Houston and was poo-pooing the Bulls on Parade Texans, I know I did not make a lot of friends early on. Houston has become my home. I want to see the Texans do well, but the team that is always closest to my heart is the team with the logo on top of my heart right now. This is not me coming out of the closet or anything like that. If you've been following me long enough, you know how I am. And I'm trying to be better as far as that goes. I am trying to be better about not talking down to sports fans who are beneath me. Instead, I'm just trying to use the approach of my Lord and Savior in this little thing that we like to call life. Don't put people down. Just focus on doing your job and taking no days off.
Has that ever crossed your mind that, boy, this is really, I might never be back here again?
I had a equipment manager in college. I mean, he had been at Michigan for 25 years or so. He's got so many Big Ten rings. I mean, he doesn't have enough fingers for all the rings he's got. And he says, you know what? I'll never forget. He says, you know what, Tom? You know what my favorite ring is? And I said, which one's that? He goes, the next one. And that's what I think, the next one.
My entire identity is based off of that mindset. The next one. That's what I'm focused on. And I try to think of those words instead of being insufferable, being like the many New York Yankees fans out there who talk about the past, Dallas Cowboys fans who talk about the past, yada, yada, yada. To talk down to people who were unfortunate to have their parents have had sex in a different part of the country than me that might be worse off at sports. So I'm trying to be better. However, I have been forced to use the nuclear option by anonymous internet yinzers. Go back to my show yesterday, specifically on YouTube. Because some people are saying, what, the Steelers are frauds? Because my thumbnail asked the question if they're frauds. I don't even think that I called them frauds, to be perfectly honest. But some of these people started talking about the 6 rings that they've won. I'm sorry, I doubt you were alive for 4 of those. Very much. Meanwhile, I have been alive for my favorite team, 6 Super Bowl wins, 10 Super Bowl appearances, yada, yada, yada. I'm not calling the Steelers frauds, but if you are going to come at Texans fans talking down to them because of a fucking thumbnail that I put up, I'm going to have to ask my Texans friends to step to the side so that I can do what I do best to them, which is talk down to them and make them feel small.
You have nothing to threaten me with.
That's right. I believe that Darth Vader said it best.
I am your father.
I own you, Steelers fans. I own you. I honestly have lost track of the amount of times that my favorite team has stuffed you and your stupid fucking terrible towels into a locker. You're coming here talking about your 6 rings, 4 of which you weren't even alive for. I've actually forgotten. 1996, there was a game in the fog. 2001, remember all that shit you guys were talking about? Cakewalking through the Patriots to New Orleans to play the then St. Louis Rams. Whoops! Cordell Stewart crapped himself. Patriots opened their stadium the next year. Bill Cowher had a meltdown in the middle of that game. Then you've got the season where, I mean, this is maybe the greatest achievement of the Steelers the last 20 years. They snapped a 21-game winning streak by the Patriots. But then they have a home game in the AFC Championship game, and Tom Brady plays maybe his best game in the playoffs. And there's many more after that. I own you. How dare you come onto this channel and bring up your stupid bullshit rings that no one gives a shit about? You might be thinking to yourself, Paul, what are you talking about? Like, you've won those rings. Oh, I did. I played for the Patriots. You're probably thinking to yourself right now, Paul, that's a custom jersey, you dork. Well, sure, it's a custom jersey, but I got another jersey. It's from the section that I used to sit in. Section 318 at the Razor Gillette Stadium. I was forged in championships. And I look down upon you, Steelers fans. How dare you get upset that I called you frauds? Did you watch the fucking game you played on Sunday? I saw some people talking about, oh, you talked about Lamar Jackson running all over us. He actually threw all over us. Whatever I said, which I forget half the time the things that I said. Whatever I said, the fact is your very hyped defense on Sunday could not stop a nosebleed at the very end of the game against your arch rival. And it took some dude who's the kicker, because the previous kicker for the Baltimore Ravens, on brand, at least we can agree on this, Steelers fans, on brand, canceled Ravens kicker, Justin Tucker, gone. So this guy, Snoopaloop or whatever the fuck his name is, comes in there and he biffs it. You know you're lucky to be in the playoffs. And you're probably thinking to yourself, like those two Steelers fans who called into Andrew Filippone's show that I played on yesterday's show, you're probably thinking to yourself, fuck, I kind of want to fire Mike Tomlin. Are we going to fire Mike Tomlin? Should we still fire Mike Tomlin? You're probably thinking that to yourself right now. You're more focused on that than you are on your home game coming up against a Texans team that struggles on offense, and that your Steelers defense should be able to keep in check for the most part. I don't know what to expect out of the Steelers offense against the Texans, and I'm not coming here talking shit to you as someone who has covered the Texans for most of the last 15 years. I'm not doing that. I am just telling you that you are beneath me, and how dare you come into my comments section talking about your stupid fucking Super Bowl rings when my team has been on you for years and 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 years. I fucking own you. Shut the fuck up and go get your shine box. Thank you. Anyway, hey, it's the Gallant Says podcast, everybody. I want to offer an olive branch to Steelers fans, though. Now that you know your place in your little cuck chair, first off, congratulations on getting John Harbaugh fired. Congratulations. Seriously, congratulations. John Harbaugh accused the Patriots of cheating often whenever the Patriots shoved him into a locker. At the very least, the Steelers... Oh, wait, you did do that. Remember when you guys were talking about the radio signals? Mike Tomlin's like, oh, I'm hearing the Patriots radio call. I don't know, get a better radio system. Sounds like a you problem. Be prepared for everything, right? No days off. Well, what was the Steelers equipment team doing? Interesting. Many are asking the question. But can we agree on this? Can we agree that this video of a politician, Steelers fans and Texans fans, can we agree that this is the worst fucking thing that was on the internet this week? Which is saying something given what's going on in Minnesota.
It's personal competition for me. I learned that up there, instead of saying y'all, they say yens. I know it's not right, but they say that. And so apparently if and when we win, I will receive a basket of Yen's merch. Hey, we learn new things every day. And of course, our thing that
is she wearing a cape?
We would send them, which we're not going to have to, is this awesome NASA jacket.
Wait, that doesn't seem fair. A nice NASA jacket that I think anyone would wear.
Well, that's why I'm like, so what are they sending? And my team's like, the Yens, and I'm like, huh? But you know what? If we've won, when we've won, like, it's okay. Like, it's okay if it's not like something like everybody would wear, like a Yens shirt, But it's just about the sweet victory.
Oh, my God. That is Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo. God, I hate it when politicians talk about sports. Don't you? It's the fucking worst. They always come off as so fake. Leave our sports to us. Aren't you stepping down? Haven't you stepped down already? Why, Lena, are you doing this ploy? What's this all about? Why? Why are you doing this? You're not running for re-election. I don't think anyone would elect you if you ran for re-election, because you've honestly been the epitome of obnoxious millennial, theatrics, using kids to prove a political point, taking a mental health leave of 6 months while you're in office or whatever it was. I'm exaggerating a little bit. Lady, no one wants to see it anymore. And shame on Channel 2 for greenlighting this obvious ploy of Lena to, I guess, endear herself to Houston, which I think everyone's sick of her, left and right. Ugh. That was awful. That was absolutely cringe. So at the very least, Steelers fans, that is my olive branch to you. Texans offensive coordinator Nick Caley's seat got a little hotter yesterday. The Dolphins finally fired Mike McDaniel. I'm guessing the Dolphins believe that they would be able to hire Mike McDaniel. Excuse me, not Mike McDaniel. That they'd be able to hire John Harbaugh. Will they? I don't know. If I'm John Harbaugh, do I want to go to Miami, given their quarterback situation with Tua Tagovailoa, still there. Difficult to move contract, I'd imagine. Very tone deaf to it as well. Yeah, I could use a fresh start. I don't know, man. Maybe keep that to yourself. You think John Harbaugh is going to want to go to the Dolphins, run by Stephen Ross, one of the worst organizations in the NFL over the past decade plus? I've never understood how the Dolphins can't make things happen there. Really don't. People want to go to Miami. But maybe John Harbaugh is thinking to himself, I'm going to Miami. Maybe the Dolphins, that's why they fired Mike McDaniel. Because it seems like they wanted to keep Mike McDaniel, and then Harbaugh gets fired, and then all of a sudden the wheels started spinning. Dolphins put out a nice statement about McDaniel. McDaniel put out a nice statement about the Dolphins. Seems like there aren't that many hard feelings, and we will see what happens next for Miami. But Mike McDaniel getting canned by Miami gives the Houston Texans an option, theoretically, if things go poorly for them and they lose on Monday. Mike McDaniel used to work with DeMeco Ryans, so it stands to reason that, say the Texans shit themselves Monday against Pittsburgh. Definitely possible. Not great weather. Pittsburgh's defense, it's up and down. It's inconsistent, but it does have talent. And the Texans offense, we know, loves to shoot itself in the foot. It is totally possible that they lose that game. If they lose that game, I do think it is possible that the Texans decide to themselves, we're going to make some changes when it comes to coaches, specifically the offensive coordinator. And this time, we're going to allow DeMeco Ryans to pick a guy that he likes. Because clearly, Nick Haley, with his John Carroll ties and Patriots ties, is what Nick Caserio wanted. Do they move in another direction? Amicable parting of ways with Haley. And on to Mike McDaniel if things go south on Monday. It's definitely possible. But Mike McDaniel is going to be a hot commodity. Cliff Kingsbury, offensive coordinator for the Commanders, left that position. He might be about to be a head coach somewhere. Where? I don't know. But Dan Quinn actually has a pretty close relationship with Mike McDaniel. There's an article written about it by Mike Silver. Check it out for yourself. When McDaniel was really going through it, Dan Quinn was there for him. People love Dan Quinn. I was up in Seattle for a couple of years. He had been the defensive coordinator there for a little bit. People truly love Dan Quinn in Seattle and everywhere. It seems like he's a stand-up dude. So maybe Mike McDaniel's going to want to coach for Dan Quinn. We shall see. But I think the Texans should do something right now. At the very least, to make Mike McDaniel wait, to be patient, say things go south on Monday. And the Texans clearly have money. A team that doesn't have money isn't going to fire head coach after head coach after head coach, which is what we saw from the Texans. Fired Bill O'Brien, fired David Culley after a season, fired Lovie Smith after a season. There are a lot of organizations that wouldn't do something like that. Maybe things are starting to change and now you do fire a coach after a year if it's really, really bad. We saw the Patriots do that with Gerard Mayo, and that's not exactly the most, let's just say, they are not the most, we will throw out money at our problems organization in the NFL. They're not that. So maybe things are changing, but to bring it back to the Texans, you got money. Give Mike McDaniel some money so that he waits. Put him on retainer. And I'm not talking just for waiting for what happens on Monday. I mean whatever happens theoretically in the second round of the playoffs too, should the Texans advance. Cal McNair, get a duffel bag of money. Go and get your duffel bag, boy. I ain't never scared of a offensive coordinator in my life, but I'm damn sure not about to start running. Get money for Mike McDaniel. Just put it in a duffel bag, boy. That's what the song sounds like, I think. Get some money in a duffel bag, give it to Mike McDaniel so that he waits and that he doesn't take a gig elsewhere before the Texans at the very least have a chance to think about it. I don't know if the Texans are going to fire Nick Haley, even if they were to lose in terrible offensive fashion Monday. I think it's possible, though, And I just want to have a backup plan. Mike McDaniel, to me, is a great backup plan. So Nick Caley's seat got a little bit hotter from Monday. I hope that he remains focused. For his part, CJ Stroud, who was also complimentary of Bobby Slowick, so take this with a grain of salt, was complimentary of Caley at his press conference yesterday. For those who missed it, here is the quarterback of your Houston Texans talking about Nick Caley. Drum roll, drum roll, drum roll, drum roll, drum roll, drum roll. Here we go. Loaded already. Here is Texans quarterback CJ Stroud.
I think, his ability to, to block out the noise and continue to go forward. I think, everybody in this day and age wants microwave. They want just throw something in a microwave, let it heat up fast, and be a new product. And that's none of us. So, football is an oven type of sport, or whatever you use, a crock pot, whatever any of y'all use. Yeah, whatever. So, I think, this team, and we try to do our best to just block out the noise, and just stay, in our brotherhood.
Talk so much about the noise after making references to an oven, to a crock pot, and to a microwave right there that you actually wonder, have the Texans been listening to the noise? He talks about it so much, but I did not see CJ Stroud being asked about Nick Caley coming up with not one, not two, but 3 cooking references. CJ Stroud, a big kitchen guy? Interesting. More CJ Stroud. Talking about Nick Caley and what he's done this year.
And lean on one another. I thought he's done a great job of, leaning on us, asking us what we like, even if it didn't work, like not running away from asking guys, what they like, and putting guys in position to, do what we need to do best. So, we're still working. We're still, got ways to go, but I'm just proud of that guy, man. I think he's done a heck of a job of calling it, of, being honest, and really one thing I respect about Kel is like he doesn't, point fingers. And if he does, it's in the right way. It's not like blame game. It's like, hey, you can be better here because I know you can. So he's uplifting, and I have a lot of love for that guy. But he's done a heck of a job for us this year.
I wonder if that's what Bobby Slowick was like. Lance Zierlein had that report about how the first exchange between CJ Stroud and Bobby Slowick at their pre-draft meeting was rather testy, where Slowick was getting on CJ and CJ wasn't backing down. Caley has a different approach. Seems like Stroud likes it. Stroud's always going to be political when he's at the podium talking about anybody, whether it's a teammate or a coach. Quarterbacks are the most media trained in this setting. So you give him some flowers for keeping it kosher and not rocking the boat. Sometimes you want to see the quarterback rock the boat at the podium, but that's generally the sign of a bad team. From what I understand behind the scenes, Stroud has taken to Caley's offense slowly, but he does like Caley, and that is consistent with what you heard from Stroud talking about Caley there. But Caley's seat is definitely hotter with Mike McDaniel now an available coach for any team to hire, offensive coordinator or head coach. We will see what happens. As we get closer and closer to Texans Steelers, the Texans have been saying some interesting things over the last couple of days. First, let's listen to Texans head coach DeMeco Ryans talking about the offensive line this season. He was asked what he has seen out of it as we get closer and closer to February. Here is Texans head coach DeMeco Ryans on that offensive line.
To today,
our offensive line has done a good job. I feel like our group has improved throughout the year. The main thing, when you look at it, we've done a really great job of protecting our quarterback. And that was the main emphasis coming into this year. Is can we upgrade in that area of protecting our quarterback better, keeping him off the ground, and we've done that.
We've done that. Statistically, D'Amico is correct. They have been better this year. And it's impressive that they've been better this year because of the mixing and matching that they have done on the offensive line with all the injuries that they have had. They are not perfect, but I do not think that they are as easy as a target as they were last year, to blame for the Texans' struggles offensively. And that makes C.J. Stroud semi-literally have a little more pressure on him to get things done. They have been better. Part of it is the offense and the way that it operates. You're supposed to get the ball out quick. Stroud has, for the most part, done that, but sometimes he gets away from that. And he's going to need to stick with that in Monday night's playoff game against the Steelers. What did C.J. Stroud have to say about the Texans' offensive line? Here is the quarterback of your Houston Texans talking about the 5 guys in front of him for much of this season. Getting the right time code. Hang on a second, because I'm playing this from the Texans YouTube channel. Shout out to the Texans for posting this stuff on YouTube. Here's C.J. Stroud.
I think a lot of guys have been in there, and I think just schematically too, just me trying to get the ball as fast as possible, or taking one if one is there. I thought we've all grown, from Titus all the way down to me, So I think the leadership in that room has grown. I think Cole, Cole's done an amazing job, and he's hard on those guys. He yells, he cusses, he does, everything that you think an O-line coach should do. Those guys, they're yes sir, no sir, and they're also don't back down when the challenge is presented. So they're the heartbeat of our team, and we go as far as they go.
He's right on that. One thing I want to see less of in the playoffs, I really want specifically less illegal shifts, less illegal formations. I really want that. More from the Houston Texans. The injury report for Thursday, and Friday will have a different one. The guys who didn't participate in practice. Titus Howard, that's a noteworthy one, but it was a rest day for him. He's dealing with an ankle injury. Trent Brown was limited optimally. The right tackle for the Houston Texans, dealing with an ankle and a knee injury. Ariante Ursary, dealing with a thumb injury, was good to go. So it does seem like there's a chance the Texans will have their offensive line at 100%, which not a lot of teams can say this time of year. I know the Steelers can't. I know the Patriots can't. Other guys on the injury report, Jawar Jordan is dealing with a high ankle sprain. That makes you wonder about the running back room, and that likely means that we are going to see more from Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb caught up with Aaron Wilson and other Houston Texans media, and a little mini deep steel blue pill for you. Here is Nick Chubb, who, with no Jawar Jordan, will get more work. Mike Tomlin calls him Mr. Chubb. I think that's funny. Here's Nick Chubb talking about it, courtesy of Aaron Wilson, the video, about perhaps having a more expanded role against Pittsburgh Monday night.
Just in the moment right now, ready to go. This time of year, God told me, Aziz told me, this is where you make your name. You made your money during the regular season. Make your name right here, so I'm ready to go out and play.
God told me, this is where you make your money. Right here. So there you go. There you go, everybody. We'll see. We shall see. By the way, that's Woody Marks. Terrible job, Paul. Terrible, terrible job. I don't know why I listed that in the rundown as Woody Marks, but that's Woody Marks. God told me, and Aziz told me, this is the time of year where you make your money. More interesting quotes coming out of the Houston Texans locker room over the last couple of days. Am I going to get canceled for that one? Here is Kamari Lassiter, who did not play against the Indianapolis Colts, being Kamari Lassiter. We love Kamari Lassiter. We love that man. He is the epitome of Texas sport. Here is Woody Marks, video courtesy of Landry Locker. By the way, if you're doing nothing on Friday, which is today, Landry's going to be doing the SNL with Cody Stutes at Shakey's Pizza in Sharpstown. I think John McClane's going to be there. I'm thinking about stopping by like an impromptu visit because I might have to pick up something that's in the area, but we shall see. It really depends on how much procrastinating I do, like I did this morning. Didn't do the show this morning because the awesome announcement that Creed is going to be at the rodeo. I had a few too many drinks at the rodeo announcement party, and I just slept the fuck in way past my alarm like I was a hibernating bear. Here is Kamari Lassiter talking about being good to go despite missing the game against the Indianapolis Colts.
But, yeah, I mean, I've been ready to play. I'm ready to play.
What do you do, like, when you're having to...
I didn't play the beginning of that clip, so hang on a second. Let's get a little more from Kamari Lassiter being asked how he's doing.
He knew that you needed to be out in order to be ready for this one. How much for you does it make it a little bit hungrier knowing that you have an opportunity to rest and now come back for this game?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't need rest. Let's go ahead and get that straight. But, yeah, I mean, I've been ready to play. I'm ready to play.
What do you do?
I didn't need rest. Love that guy. More from Kamari Lassiter with some questions from Landry Locker. Being asked about protecting himself and if it's helpful, given the mentality that he plays with, that the Texans constantly are aware that they need to keep this guy perhaps from being his own worst enemy.
I mean, I definitely, I feel like myself and everyone on the team has like a mutual understanding. Like everyone knows that I really would die out there, you know, but it's just like, I'm appreciative because sometimes I always talk about, you know, sometimes you have to protect yourself from yourself. And I feel like that was just more of the case.
Everyone knows I would die out there. So sometimes, you know, they just got to protect you from yourself. More Kamari.
So we always talk about the bowl game that you didn't opt out of after winning 2 national championships. I know I've asked you about it when you're a rookie, but it kind of seems more meaningful now. Is that kind of like the one time where maybe you had people, because Kirby said you might have even gone against your mom's wishes, and that is that a time where you kind of got the most pushback to play football instead of thinking long term?
Oh yeah, Mama knows best, and I don't went against the grain, but it all worked out in my favor. I'm sure my mom talked to Kirby and was like, "Hey, look, you know," but you know, everything played out the way it was supposed to.
That's hilarious. Good callback by Landry asking that question. More from the Houston Texans as we get closer and closer to Monday and their game at formerly Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. D'Amico Ryans was asked about Pittsburgh's often discussed messy field at the podium. Here is the head coach of your Houston Texans on Thursday when asked about playing in the elements and about being ready to go on that field. D'Amico Ryans, everybody.
Yeah, our team is ready to go anywhere, anytime, any place. We're ready to go.
I can't remember the name of the field now, but Heinz Field has been known for, not great conditions on the field. Is that something that you have to be aware of, and how do y'all kind of approach that if you do?
Yeah, we make sure we're prepared in all facets of the game. We do our preparation. It's not just the film and the plays and what we run, but we'll do our thing, when it comes to preparing for the weather, for the field, all those things. Our equipment staff is well versed in those areas to get us everything that we need to be ready to go.
That is something you got to consider. You got to have really good cleats to play on the Steelers' natural grass. It's tough to maintain grass in the Northeast. You've seen more and more teams move away from it, but I think Pittsburgh's the one holdout that hasn't moved to a field turf, field of sorts. I know the Patriots have. So could that hurt the Texans? Could they have difficulty with their footing? Are they going to be used to wearing cleats with longer spikes? We shall see. But D'Amico's saying that they will be prepared for that. Meanwhile, here is Texans kicker Kaimi Fairbairn. This is video courtesy of Aaron Wilson. Also talking about Heinz Field and specifically that priest who poured holy water on a spot where I guess Tyler Loop missed a field goal from on Sunday night.
See if they break out the holy water.
The holy water?
Did you see that?
No, what is that?
They had a priest walk across the end zone and he blessed the end zone a little bit, and it was the side where the Ravens kicker missed the kick.
Hopefully that doesn't bother me.
That's notoriously kind of the hardest place to kick in the NFL. Is that something that's known in kicker circles? Is that something you guys are aware of?
I don't really think about it that way. It's anytime you go in January and in the cold, it's going to be a challenge, but you got to look forward to the challenge, right? And rise up above it and do your job.
And I'll rise up, I'll rise up, I'll rise up. We'll see if Kaimi Fairbairn's able to do what he's been doing all year. 44 of 48 on the season. NFL record, 44 made kicks. 16-game season versus 17-game season. Last time it was done, 2011 with David Akers. But that's really impressive, what he's been doing. But kicking outside, it is tough. And, you know, we have seen him have some issues, specifically last year against the Kansas City Chiefs while kicking outside. So hopefully he's up for the challenge. But, I mean, he's a Hawaiian. Let's not take anything away from him. Playing in the cold is tough. Kicking, catching, anything that involves your extremities, it doesn't feel great when you're outside. Anyway, Landry Locker brought up an interesting stat about C.J. Stroud earlier this week, and it's been brought up a couple of times on the channel how there are less people that, not less people. C.J. Stroud has been running the football less this season. And people would like to see C.J. Stroud run the football a little bit more. The number that Landry put out after Stroud's concussion, the 5 games that he's been back, he's run for 20 rushing yards total. Before that, he had run for 20-plus yards in 6 of 8 games. The 2 playoff games last year, he used his feet a lot. They helped out. He had the big scramble against the Chargers. He had a big scramble against the Chiefs as well. Is he going to use his feet a little bit more? Landry, who brought that statistic up, asked Stroud if he does plan on running with the football a little bit more. Here's the quarterback of your Houston Texans.
In big games, you've used your legs. Last year you had, I think, 42 yards in both playoff games. Do you think that the need or willingness to use the legs increases in playoff games?
I don't know. I just try to play as fast as I can. I think every game I try to use my legs if I need to, but sometimes it doesn't present. I've been getting spied lately, so that's kind of cool. You know, I haven't got spied in my career probably in a long time, but you know, so whatever the play presents. But yeah, I mean, I think, you know, whatever way you got to get the job done, get it done.
From the human element of that, coming back after the injury that you had, was there any like challenge of I gotta be selective when to use my legs?
No, I'm not. I don't live in fear. At least I try not to. So I think this game, if you think about getting hurt, you think about something happening, is when it usually happens. So I try my best to just play fast and just, you know, protect myself as well, though.
I want to see him run the football a little bit more. I think it's a strength that he doesn't know he has. So there you go. Those are the most interesting things that I heard from the Houston Texans over the last couple of days. It is wild card weekend. We've got 6 NFL games this weekend. We had a college football playoff game last night. It was a classic. Ole Miss, Miami. Miami ultimately won. I feel for Ole Miss. They played damn well in that game. But Carson Beck, I mean, he had a hell of a performance against them. He played really, really well against them. And while he did have a couple of interceptions and that one that was deflected up in the air, right? Did he have 2? I'll be honest. I was watching this at the party. So my attention to the game wasn't the best, but he did have 1 interception, but he had that touchdown run. It was a hell of a game. Ole Miss had a chance at the very end. I'm not going to lie. I'm tired of all the people that are asking, was this pass interference? Was that pass interference? I think that all the bad calls in the game, pass interference-wise, even themselves out. I really do. But I hate that that's one of the big things that we're talking about after what was an incredible game. Is that on the referees? I don't know. Do you call a pass interference on a throw down the left sideline? It's the last play of the game on a Hail Mary. Generally, they don't throw a flag on a Hail Mary or a last chance touchdown attempt, but personally, it did look like pass interference to me. But also, earlier, when Ole Miss had a drive extended, there was a suspect pass interference called on Miami. And I'm sure there were other bad calls along the way. I just hate this part of how good replay angles have become, is that now we are second-guessing every fucking flag or non-flag over the course of the game. Ugh. So, that was last night's game. I am curious, and maybe you guys can tell me this. What do you think was going through Lane Kiffin's head? Say Ole Miss had won, and then Ole Miss goes on to win the national title. Is he such a sociopath that he looks at himself and says, I'm the reason they won that. Now I got a lot of money. Or is there a sliver of him deep down inside that regrets having left Ole Miss right before these playoffs? Is there a chance that he did a fist pump under the table for what went down last night as well? Definitely. I bet he's honestly happy that Ole Miss lost, especially now that he's going to LSU and he's going to try to poach some of Ole Miss's players over to LSU and say, hey, that's the closest we're ever going to get when you're there. Come join me. We'll see. Transfer portal, Jesus, it's been an obnoxious week on that front, hasn't it? But Miami wins 31-27 last night. Tonight, Oregon at Indiana. Indiana, 3.5-point favorites. The over-under for this game is 48.5. I want you guys to listen to me and to remember this. This is how I feel about sports predictions. Predictions are stupid. I think they're dumb. Anyone can make a prediction. Preseason, for a game, anyone can make a prediction. You could put a lot of work into said prediction. You could put almost no work into said prediction. And guess what? When it comes to sports, that could work out or work against you. Who would have thought it? Sports are unpredictable. So I hate making predictions because of that. You can make an educated guess on who you think will win a game, but to stake your reputation on whether or not a team wins a game, I don't know. Not for me. I will tell you who should win a game, and I will tell you who I'm rooting for in a game. And perhaps in the future, we will introduce somebody else to highlight how stupid it is to predict games. Maybe we'll bring in a chicken or something like that. Will the chicken do better than Gambling Gary or all these other people that are out there? I think Indiana should win this game. I think they are the most what's the word? Certainly not the most talented team. But I do think that they are the most technically sound team. And you take a look at the age on their roster. It's an older team, and it makes a lot of sense that they would be pushing 19 and 20-year-olds around the way that they are. I think they're the best team in college football this year. I think that beating Ohio State and stuffing Alabama into a locker the way that they did is proof of that. I do think that when Ole Miss is rolling on all cylinders, not Ole Miss, when Oregon is rolling on all cylinders, I think that they are the best team in the country in terms of talent. We've seen it earlier this year. And when Dan Lanning, the head coach of Oregon, has a bee in his bonnet, if someone's talked a little shit, I think he's great at motivating them. Remember the build up to Oregon and Oklahoma State, and obviously Oklahoma State stinks and Mike Gundy got fired, but Lanning and Oregon players were extremely focused for that one. And there is a part of me that wonders if there is anything at all over the past calendar year that Indiana coach Curt Cignetti has said about Oregon. Because if they have, I think Dan Lanning's going to use it to his advantage. But I think Indiana should win this game. I am pulling for Oregon because my beautiful love of my life girlfriend is from the great state of Oregon. NFL games this weekend. Saturday, 3:30, Fox, Rams at Panthers. The Rams are 10.5-point favorites. The over-under for this game is it 35.5? That sounds wrong. I think the Rams are going to blow the Panthers out. That should happen. And I'm rooting for the Rams to blow the Panthers out. I don't want to see the Panthers at all in these playoffs, number one. And number two, I think Panthers head coach Dave Canales is an asshole for actually writing a book about what he put his wife through. And I think he's one of those people that has an ego to think that, yeah, people are going to buy a book by Dave Canales where he wrote about infidelity, porn addiction, and faith. The book is called, quote, This Marriage, The Question That Changed Everything. It was written by he and his wife. He wrote a book, a man who has 4 children, about cheating on his wife and being addicted to porn, with the kind of ego that makes him believe that people are going to buy this book and it's going to change things, instead of thinking what he should think is, this is something that I should keep behind closed doors to protect my children. I think he is the epitome of a fucking narcissist writing a book like this. So fuck that guy. I hope the Panthers get smoked. What an asshole. 7 o'clock prime. Will Al Michaels fall asleep in this game? Packers at Bears, round 3. The Packers are 1.5-point favorites. The over-under for this game is 44.5. Obviously, the Bears beat the Packers the latest go-round. The first go-round was a close one. Bears have a lot of confidence in themselves, and the Packers seem like they want to go on vacation and come back from vacation with head coach Matt LaFleur gone. So I think the Bears should win this game. I think it's going to be a close one. But Chicago's had a lot of fortune on their side this year, given all of the takeaways that they have had. I think that you could argue they've been lucky a lot this year. I don't have that much faith in Caleb Williams as a quarterback. I think he's been better this season under Ben Johnson. And I really like, for what it's worth, the Packers defensive coordinator, Jeff Havley. So it's not to say the Packers don't have a chance, but the vibes are just off in Green Bay. So I think Chicago should win that game. And since the Packers made me cry when they beat the Patriots in Super Bowl 31, a game I was not allowed to watch all of, I went to bed with the Patriots winning 14-10 back in 1997. This was the game where everyone knew that Bill Parcells was leaving for the Jets, like, leading up to the game. A little bit of a distraction there. So, pulling for the Bears. Bears should win. Sunday, noon, Bills at Jaguars. The Bills are a 1.5-point favorite. Talked about this earlier in the lead up to the Texans game against the Bills. I don't think the Bills are a good football team. I think they are a team with some great players, but the best of their players, Josh Allen, is the entire determinant of whether or not they win. And I think Jacksonville's defense is good enough to give Allen some issues. I don't think James Cook is going to run all over the Jaguars, the Bills running back. If Josh Allen has an MVP game, I think the Bills win a close one. If Josh Allen is not playing at the MVP level that everyone believes him to be, he's the reigning one, and he's probably the best player in the league. No offense to likely MVP Matt Stafford or to Drake May. But he has to have a superhuman kind of game against Jacksonville to win. Jaguars run the ball well. Bills don't do a great job of stopping the run. Could Trevor Lawrence throw 4 interceptions in the first quarter like he did against the Chargers a few years ago? Sure, but it seems like he has finally figured things out. I don't believe in Trevor Lawrence all of a sudden, but it'll be interesting to see how he fares in this game. But I think that the Jaguars should win, and personally, I am rooting for the Jaguars to win because that helps my Patriots out. I don't want the Patriots to go up against Josh Allen again. I don't think they match up well against him. 3:30, Fox, 49ers at Eagles. Eagles 5.5-point favorites. The over-under for this game is 44.5. The fact that the 49ers even made it to this point with all the injuries is a miracle. I think this is going to be a rock fight, and I think the Eagles are going to win. I am rooting for the Eagles as well. Part of my family's from Philadelphia. I want my stepdad to be happy. 7 o'clock NBC. The Chargers are playing the Patriots. Patriots 3.5-point favorites. Over under 45.5. I'm not that confident in the Patriots for this game. I think that the Patriots have some offensive line issues that could allow for the Chargers to give Drake May some problems. The Patriots have obviously had a pretty easy schedule this season, but this is working against the Chargers. Chargers safety Tony Jefferson, after the last game of the year where the Chargers didn't really play anybody against the Denver Broncos, who locked up the 1 seed, he said this while he was walking back into the locker room. This is just weird by Tony Jefferson.
FaceTime, bro. I don't care. I have no respect. So y'all in New England, baby? I'm like nobody in the world. Oh, my homie JL Skinner, I fuck with him though. Broncos suck though.
So tough to hear that there from Tony Jefferson. But Jefferson there believes that they will be back to play the Broncos, assuming they beat the Patriots. Here's more from Tony Jefferson on facing the Patriots to start the postseason. Again, Mike Vrabel is going to use this. This is just like the Chargers 20 years ago, braying before playing the Patriots in 2006 and then in 2007.
New England Patriots on deck next weekend. Just your initial thoughts.
Love it. I don't care who it is. It's a whole new season, and all focus is on that, going to New England and getting ready to go get a dub and hopefully come back here.
Well, Tony, I don't know if you use the word confidence or momentum, but you held them out of the end zone all day with several guys out. What do you take from a game like this?
Great preparation all week. Guys who haven't had that many snaps all year.
I'm just going to go back to that specific part a little bit ago, because you hear that and you're like, oh, that's kind of innocuous, like the comments that Mike Tomlin had yesterday where he's complimenting Davis Mills a lot after saying a few nice things about C.J. Stroud. More from Tony Jefferson. He says he's focused on them, but all you got to do is edit out the first parts.
Initial thoughts.
Love it. I don't care who it is. It's a whole new season, and all focus is on that, going to New England and getting ready to go get a dub and hopefully come back here.
Well, Tony,
hopefully come back here. I think the way that this quote was portrayed to me, it's a whole new season, getting ready to go get a dub, and hopefully come back to Denver. I feel like there are ways for the New England Patriots and for Mike Vrabel specifically to perhaps spin this in a way where the Chargers are disrespecting the Patriots. But I'm not going to lie, I definitely fell victim to a little bit of clickbait there. That's not as bad as I thought it would be. All you need is somebody who's very good with Premiere Pro to edit that video. That's it. What else do we have? No, that's pretty much it on the sports side of things. Let's read some of your sports comments before we get into a little politics. Politics. Rick Hagwood says, howdy, just watched your show yesterday. 2+ hours of views. Some would say I'm crazy. I'd say I'm fortunate. Thanks, Rick. Appreciate you. Not Santa asks if I'm going to record the Manning cast. Nope, not going to watch it for a second. We're going to be at Easy's Liquor Lounge. Come join us. $28 steaks. What else do we have? Greg Todd says, John Morant's on the market. Go get him, Rockets. No, fuck that. I don't want John Morant here. John Morant's an idiot. Ricky Nelson asks on Facebook, can the Texans play in the cold? We'll see. Yep, we will. Greg Todd's blaming me for Lena Hidalgo getting in. God, that video was awful. Go back to earlier in the show if you want to see Lena Hidalgo. We got some takes on what went down in Minnesota. Believe me, we're going to get to them in just a second. Ghostly Ranger says, Paul, who should I start on my fantasy team this week? Clinton Portis or Kevin Walter? Well, both those guys are retired, and also go fuck your fantasy team. Okay. Ghostly Ranger also asks, does your girlfriend love you? Well, she says she does. Or is she secretly just Arya's guardian angel to make sure you don't bean her with a coffee cup? Tormick Johnson says, Panthers, Texans, Super Bowl, AFC South Championship game. God, that would be the lowest rated Super Bowl ever. He also says the Texans fans wanted to get rid of Shanahan offense, then want to get rid of a Patriots offense, then want another Shanahan offense. Yeah, it's funny. But, I mean, Mike McDaniel has experience, and people liked McDaniel as a coordinator. All right, let's talk about it. Never thought that we'd be seeing this in our own backyard because this is so far away from what went down in Minneapolis a couple of days ago. Sad story where Renee Nicole Macklin, who is a mother of 3, got shot by ICE. Anything I say about this, he began, walking on the fence, I know I'm not going to change your mind. You either believe one thing or another. And I'm not going to do all the Zapruder film analysis that a lot of people have done. She clearly tried to murder that guy. She clearly was trying to not murder that guy. Like, I don't know. The only people that know what happened there are Renee Nicole Macklin, who's now dead, and the 2 ICE agents who were there. As far as intent, I know that there was another video released of the body cam of the ICE agent, and I don't think it's particularly clear. You did hear the ICE agent say fucking bitch after she had been shot. I have more questions about what went down than I have takes, which might disappoint you. Why is that lady out there when she's got kids or during that period? Was she trying to agitate them? Is it more likely that that lady panicked or that she tried to run the guy over? Is it possible that the ICE agent isn't the most highly trained law enforcement officer and panicked himself? Why is he standing in front of a car? I have lots of questions. I don't have the answers to any of them. I'm sure that whether you're on the left or you're on the right, you think you have the answers to them. The only real take I have is that Minnesota is the biggest shit show in the United States of America, between what's going on with fraud, with allegations that the governor of Minnesota was actively standing in the way of investigations of said fraud, and now this. And I mean, go back 5 years to the protests after George Floyd was killed, and I do think it's fair to say murdered. Talk about the toxicology report all you want. He did have his knee on his neck for 9 minutes. since then, it's been an absolute fucking disaster. It's crazy to me that Tim Walz was nominated to be vice president, given just what this state's been. It's a bigger shit show than Florida, for God's sake. It's number 1 of 50 as far as shit shows. And I'm nervous about what happens next up there. You know, I don't think that the local authority figures, the governor, the mayor, I don't think that they're doing a lot to fan the flames. I think that they're, well, I guess fan the flames. You know what? I'm not 100% sure if fan the flames means to make it go everywhere. It feels like, though, they are more pouring gasoline on this very tense situation than they are putting this fire out. And I'm really curious as to what happens next. I guess the one thing that might be good for all of us is that it's fucking cold in Minnesota this time of year. So how many people are going to want to go outside and do whatever theoretically could happen next? I don't know. I really don't know. I think it's horrible that that woman died. I think it's horrible that she's being labeled as a domestic terrorist. I also think she got a screw loose. Clearly. I mean, you got kids. What are you doing there? The only people that are going to be able to tell you what happened are that woman who lost her life and the ICE agents who were there. And I doubt we are going to hear from them. We will only see body cam footage because they are going to be protected as best as they can be, because they don't want to face any sort of, 1, literal retaliation, or 2, lawsuit, legal retaliation, you know? But it was awful. I hate that I saw the video. I really don't think that anyone can come to a concrete opinion based in fact about what actually happened there. And I know that's going to disappoint a lot of you here that think I'm coming in here with a take, but nope, I'm trying to look at this in the most rational, level-headed way I can. And I might lean a little bit to the right, but I think everybody that's online yelling at each other, this happened, it's like become block or charge Twitter. That was a block. That was a charge. I mean, except for a lot more adversarial, and it's made me want to just stay off the internet altogether. But ICE protests have made their way to Houston. I don't know how many people saw this last night, but this was taking place in the Galleria, video courtesy of the Cron. Must be fun to be a horse cop. Just a thought.
Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
I have no problem with these people protesting. I've never really understood what protesting like this accomplishes. As long as you're not getting in the street, do what you got to do. But do not block me trying to get from point A to point B. And I say that for the Houston Marathon as well. Don't get in my fucking way. Don't do it. Don't you do it. But you're seeing protests here. There was more video from the Cron. Here's another little clip of the protests taking place in Houston, and specifically in the Galleria area, in case you missed these last night.
Tonight, we are joining tens of thousands, if not millions of people across the country to demand an end to ICE terror, to demand justice for our sister, Lanae Nicole Good. No fascist USA!
So there you go. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. I wonder what happens next. And I feel awful for that woman, for her kids. And I think a lot of these ICE officers, they're just not very well trained. And a situation like that where you're standing in front of the car, I mean, why were you standing in front of the car? You pulled the gun out. You pull a gun out, you intend to use it. Was that person doing anything that necessitated deadly force? And I mean, that's the block versus charge argument online. Like, was she trying to run him over? I do think it's more likely that she panicked and was trying to peel out. I really do. But the only person that can tell us what was going through her head is her. Take a look at the body cam footage. It does seem like they thought that they were going to be able to drive away from it. And I've seen a couple of Minnesota journalists talking about this, is that the way that protests have been handled, especially from George Floyd on, where cops are allowing these things to go down and not do anything, has definitely emboldened some people to maybe think that there were no consequences that were going to happen there. And ICE is obviously going to have a totally different perspective on what's going on. These are federal troops, essentially. And I know there's a variety of different opinions of what kind of troops they are. I'm not here to make that. I'm just trying to talk about this in the most rational way I can. But I think that just Minnesota as a whole deserves a lot of blame for everything that's gone down. And what's unfortunate, with Minnesota now being our country's biggest shit show, there are people there that are making the lives of Minnesotans worse, that are in office. I think the governor of Minnesota, I think we should agree, both sides of the aisle, this guy's a fucking idiot. Total idiot. I think that the mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, anyone see that? Fuck, guys, get out of here. Did he say that in Somalian again? That panderer, just a complete fraud as well. And I would say this about probably any politician. I think they're all full of shit. Skin suits, especially Gavin Newsom. And on the right, too. I mean, does anyone like Ted Cruz? I'm trying to... I'm trying the best I can to just look at it the way that we all should, where fuck all these people. But these people now get to use what happened to this poor woman as a distraction from the massive fraud that's taking place up there. And it's really bad. It's really bad. This should be a bipartisan thing. Sadly, it's not. Bums me out. Really does. Tormach Johnson calls me a fake centrist. Tor, go fuck yourself. Oh, he's gonna go the Will Cade route. No, like this is who I am. This is who I've always been. If you listen to me back on the radio back in the day, take a look at some of the things that I was saying back in 2017 and before that as well. Like, if you think that I'm being fake or a fraud here, get the fuck out. Period. Go fuck yourself. A lot of people have different opinions on this, and I respect all of them. I think the idea that anyone knows what the hell happened there is just wrong. But the debates online are awful, and it's made me want to stay away from the internet altogether. HTX Rhino asks if this is a Bills shirt. That's more offensive than anything Tormach Johnson said there, you know? But I appreciate you sticking around for politics. They're fucking terrible. They're politics. Yeah, Tormach Johnson. Dude, I get paid to talk politics on the side. What are you talking about? Oh, fake centrist Will Cade. Biggleby, what is it that I've said that's wrong? Please, enlighten me. I'd love to hear it. Like, I think you're one of these people that's so far gone to one direction. I don't even know. I don't even care. But what is it that I've said that's wrong? Please, enlighten all of us. I don't even know what you think. So tell me what you think. We could have a conversation. Instead, you're being a cunt, to be frank. You know? He doesn't know what he's talking about. What? Highlight it. Please. Because I hate how divided we are. Like I really wish that there was somebody that was a good centrist voice that can bring everybody back. Because I think there's a lot of things that the right says is crazy. It's one of the reasons where, like, I think I would potentially have the means to move over into right-wing, like, blabbing, but I don't know if I could physically do it. Really, I don't. Because there's some stuff I just completely disagree with. But there's also a lot of stuff, just having lived in Seattle for as long as I did, where you take a look at how far the left has gone in certain ways. Like, Seattle is the extremist of the left, and it's amazing to me how in their bubble they are and how intolerant they are of you saying, you guys are crazy. Simply. I'm trying to laugh at it as best I can, but how can you laugh at what happened there? I think that some of the rhetoric, and specifically, you know, from the president of the United States, as if it wasn't bad enough what he said about Rob Reiner. Maybe Rob Reiner had gone politically crazy, but everyone seemed to love Rob Reiner, the human. And take a look at all the accounts that happened afterwards. And I had no idea how many great things Rob Reiner was a part of. I had no idea that he was Leonardo DiCaprio's character's dad in Wolf of Wall Street, or that he made The Princess Bride, or any of these things. And Trump says that. What the fuck was that? What was that? And then to label this woman as like a domestic terrorist. No, I think she was a misguided, possibly a little bit crazy woman that found herself in a situation that she did not expect to escalate the way that it did, panicked for a split second, and she's dead because you got people that are definitely not the most well-trained political operatives out there. Not political, you know, like, is ICE the best of the best? No. Like, during a time where a lot of people don't have jobs, you see those advertisements that they are posting, it doesn't seem like there's a very high bar to clear. And if you are caught on body cam footage saying fucking bitch after you shot this person, like, was it an emotional reaction there? I don't know. Doesn't look good. But Minnesota's the biggest shit show in the country. So congratulations, Florida. You made it. You made it. Anyway, I love everybody. I love you. You love me. We're a happy family. With a great big hug and a kiss from me to you. Won't you say you love me too? Anyway, look at the comment section blowing up. Maybe I should do more of this than talking about the Texans. Ryan lost in Texas. I want to end the show on a high note. So I appreciate you bringing that up. There was a half-naked man doing calisthenics on top of the Chick-fil-A in a standoff with police in Katy this morning. Let's find this. That sounds awesome. Katy man Chick-fil-A. Let's see. Oh, goddamn. Do we have video of this? Let me see if I can find this video. Fox Local. Okay, this is on Instagram. Let's see. Oh, so someone got this while driving by on the Katy Freeway? Oh my God. All right, is that the only video we got? Shout out to this person recording and driving, though I would advise you not to do stuff like this. Here you go. All right, so they're zooming in on the Chick-fil-A. There's a SWAT team up there, or just police officers. They don't really look like a SWAT team. And then there's this guy, and he's standing. Does he have a gun? Is that why they're up there? No shirt, pants on, one leg sleeve gone. Remember those pants that were like, they had the detachable bottoms to them? You could turn them into shorts. I had multiple pairs of those. Ryan Lost in Texas says it was on Grizzy's Hood News on Facebook. Tora, I know I'm smug. Listen, I've never denied that. But I want to know what you're disagreeing with me here, you know? Okay, here we go. Because Grizzy's Hood News. By the way, Grizzy's Hood News was on the Paul Gallant Show when I was over at 97.5. Do we have the original video? Here we go. Shout out to Grizzlies Hood News getting, we might have to have her on the show again. Because now she's a part of Channel 2, which perhaps in the eyes of some is a sad statement on local journalism. Maybe that's where I get my next gig. Grizzlies Hood News. Send in a job application. Although I don't know if people think I'm a hood. Here we go. Here is the video posted by Grizzlies Hood News of the man on the roof. Okay, he's just standing on the roof. He's just pacing. What kind of drugs do you think he's on? PCP? Is he on bath salts? Oh, he's doing a little twirl-a-whirl here. Kind of curious as to what's being said. What's the commentary here? This man's crazy! Oh my God, there's a fire ladder as well. Just let him stay on the roof. That would piss me off if I got evacuated from Chick-fil-A because of that. Is there a dog in this car? I will say this about the homeless here in town. They are getting a little bit chestier. A little bit chestier. Ryan Lawson, Texas, is guessing meth. So is Todd the Show. Moving too much for fentanyl. I would not have expected fentanyl here. Yeah, I think fentanyl, you do the thing where you're standing and crouching at the same time. It's wild. Lopez 69, that is a horrible joke. But I did laugh a little bit at it. The homeless in town are getting a little chestier. I say that as someone who, the gas station I use, there's a gas station on Westheimer I go to, and I swear every other time that I'm there, like when I'm getting out of my car, I take my watch off and I put it in my pocket, and I swear there's a homeless person, and I have this little shitty knife that I when I'm getting my gas now at this gas station I take out, but there's always a different crazy homeless person that's walking around in that area. They're very aggressive, the homeless in that kind of Fountain View, Chimney Rock area. They're terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Because they always seem to be on something and a little aggressive. Like one guy that I saw yesterday, I forget what day I last filled my gas, but this guy looks like Gambit from X-Men. He had some sort of thick Cajun accent, and I'm between the car and the gas pump, and he walks right by my car, and he said something to me in Cajun. I have no idea what the fuck he said. But it sounded like that coach with the overalls and Waterboy. But it wasn't quite as Ed Orgeron. He was like, so it gets more, again, to what I was saying, like Gambit. Channing Tatum as Gambit in the X-Men. Was that the X-Men Deadpool movie? The Wolverine Deadpool movie? He just walks by. I'm like, okay, please don't do anything. So the entire time, head on a swivel, head on a swivel, head on a swivel. Got into my car and locked the door so fast. But they're getting chesty at that one gas station. The 24-hour fitness that I go to that's right by 610, that's getting a little dicey these days too. Like you walk out into the parking lot, and next thing you know, there's people all over you. So yeah. Shout out to Jonathan Sanford on TikTok stopping by. Jonathan Sanford, the hero of a Rockets game earlier this week where the fucking clocks broke. Shout out to you, sir. Rockets need to have a better backup plan in place. Anyway. Little politics, little H-Town brain rot to get us out. We will be back at it Monday at 7 in the morning. I did the show later today because I had a lot of drinks last night and slept through my alarms. Just full confession here, okay? But I appreciate everybody who stops by to watch this show. As we get closer and closer to the end of football season, there will be more. politics, and there will be more H-Town brain rot sessions because I know I am not like the best when it comes to the X's and O's for basketball and for baseball. But I appreciate hanging out with the Twitchers who are not waking up early to join me for my show, and I get it. It's 7 in the morning. I'm just trying to do it at 7 so I can theoretically get a job and have a normal schedule after the fact. But if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel at Paul Gallant. Like this video while you're at it. Give me a sub and a follow on Twitch at Gallant Says. Follow is all I need, but a sub's appreciated. It really is. On X at Gallant Says Pod, Instagram at Sports Gallant, TikTok at Gallant Says, Facebook at Paul Gallant Sports. Like and follow all that shit on all those things. On the podcast side of things, we are going to migrate to a Patreon of sorts so that you'll be able to get the non-sports stuff in the future. In the meantime, we're just posting the sports segments to the Gallant Says podcast on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. So subscribe, rate, and review if you haven't already. I am merely Paul Gallant. So long, farewell.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain.
And have